Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
WMAL. 7:06, it's O'Connor and Company on a very busy Thursday morning, but they're all busy these days, aren't they? Coming up in 30 minutes, Tommy O'Connor of O'Connor Plumbing. Talk about the labor shortage right now in the trades, especially faced with the ongoing message that we keep hearing. These are jobs that Americans just won't do. Well, they're jobs that Americans haven't been encouraged to do. In fact, they've been talked out of doing these jobs. We'll talk to Tommy O'Connor. Also at 8:05, Kate T. McFarland on tariffs. And then at 8:35, the former governor of Maryland, Bob Ehrlich, who thinks there's actually a way to sort of turn the ship around in Maryland. Got to start winning some elections. He's got a plan. We'll talk about it. I'm Larry O'Connor. That is Mercedes Schlapp. Good morning, Mercedes.
Good morning. How's it going, Larry? It's cold outside.
You're your own
again.
little version. You're a condensed sort of version of the Miami sound machine that we like to keep
I try
around.
to be. I try to be joyful
for the flavor.
Salsa-like.
Joining us right now is Mark Krikorian, who I'm sure is doing his own little Tito Puente jibe right now as he sits on hold. He, of course, with the Center for Immigration Studies. Mark, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. It's a little early for me to be dancing around, but glad to be here.
Well, see, it's in our blood. Hey, Mark, you have a great study out right now focusing on these sanctuary jurisdictions. And first, just for the uninitiated, because it's thrown around a lot and we like to sort of re-educate, what technically is a sanctuary city or county or state? How do you designate these jurisdictions?
A sanctuary jurisdiction is one that doesn't cooperate with ICE when they have people in custody that they have arrested for local and state crimes. Some people misunderstand this and think that, ICE wants local police to go around and checking people's green cards. It's nothing like that. If local jurisdiction arrests somebody for beating his girlfriend, selling drugs, driving drunk, whatever it is, their fingerprints are scanned. They go to the FBI, but they also go to DHS. And so ICE knows about these people. And if they have the capacity to pick somebody up that they know is an illegal immigrant, they send what is called a detainer notice to the cops or to the jail. And sanctuary jurisdictions just ignore it and let the criminals.
Or sometimes they give them or sometimes they'll give them 60 minutes notice and say, hey, we're about to release this guy and it's impossible to get it. And just
right.
For clarity's sake, Montgomery County, Maryland, Fairfax County, Virginia, their elected officials, knowing how toxic this policy is, they claim that they are not sanctuary jurisdictions. But you have just described to a T exactly what their policy is, Mark Krikorian. So, again, I want to get into this study of yours on our next question. But they're lying, aren't they? When Fairfax County, Virginia says, oh, no, we're not a sanctuary county, that's just a lie based on what you've just described.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're defining sanctuary jurisdiction in such a way that they can tell themselves they're not lying, but they're lying. Yeah absolutely.
Yes. All right.
You also mentioned, Mark, you're talking about the fact that we talked about the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center releasing 1,000 criminal aliens, a total of 72 criminal aliens with homicide convictions or charges being released during that period. I mean, this is not,
by the way, real fast.
This is insane.
This study is over 2.5 years. It's from October 22 to February 25. I forgot to define that.
But Larry, 72 criminal aliens with homicide convictions, and they're being released. I mean, who's driving? I got to ask you, Mark, who's driving this? Who's saying, let's just let them just be released, although, they are criminals. I mean, to me, those people should just be literally impeached, removed from office, removed from their job. It's outrageous.
I mean, it's a good question, but I think it's a matter of the anti-enforcement groups, the anti-border groups are really, really invested in this. And ordinary people in the public just don't, people have jobs, so they don't pay attention to this as much. And so you end up with, like you said, the Fairfax County jail is, in that period that we studied, the number 3 largest number of criminals that they let go that ICE wanted. And, it's after Cook County Jail, which is Chicago, and number 1 is Santa Clara County, which is in the Bay Area in California. So, Fairfax County is right up there in one of the top sanctuary jurisdictions in the country.
What can be done at the federal level about this? I know it's been tried, it's been tested. Border Czar Homan, as well as Homeland Security Secretary Noem, they've been beating the drum here, saying, listen, we're apprehending, we're deporting, but in these jurisdictions, it's way more dangerous, and we have to go door to door because they're not holding them in their jails and handing them over in a secure way.
Yeah, the obvious thing, first thing that everybody thinks of, and the government has tried, is you say, okay, well, no federal money if you're not going to cooperate, and you're essentially kind of nullifying federal law. The problem is, according to the 10th Amendment, the federal government can't say, for instance, you're a sanctuary city, so no highway funds for you. In other words, when they cut off money, it's got to be related to policy. So what they've done is threatened to cut off certain Justice Department law enforcement funds. But the amount just isn't big enough to move these jurisdictions, given how intensely they want to pursue these sanctuary policies. So I'm not actually sure Congress might be able to act, but, Congress can't do anything. They're lucky to name post offices. So it's going to be difficult to deal with this. This is a hard problem.
Yeah. You've seen the CBP, the Customs Border Patrol, home app, which is giving the illegal aliens the option to leave now and self-deport. And Secretary Kristi Noem, she also did these ads basically saying, look, we're going to crack down and it's time for you to go home. Are we seeing any results coming out of this in terms of the app, in terms of what Secretary Noem has been doing at the Department of Homeland Security? Are they self-deporting?
We don't have any data on this yet, but even the New York Times did a story where they talked to various activists and immigration lawyers, and they said, yeah, some people are leaving. We don't know what the volume is yet, but absolutely some are. And the thing is, some people leave. Illegal immigrants leave all the time just because, things change in people's lives. So even under Biden, there were illegal immigrants leaving. It's just that they were letting in way more. So the issue is, how do you get more of them to decide to go home? And in addition to the things you're referring to, they're, for instance, restarting a provision in the law that's allowed to fine people who have been ordered deported but just ignored the order. And there's 1.4 million people who've been ordered deported that just ignored it and stayed. Fine them up to $1,000 a day, and they can seize their homes or cars if they can't pay the fine. So that's a real threat that's hopefully going to get people to make their plans, pack up stuff, take the kids in the car, and go home.
Mark Krikorian is our guest. Real fast, Mark, because for years now you've been saying that for the most part new legislation is not needed. You were fact-checking Biden and Kamala and Mayorkas and the Democrats about that all through that presidency, and the president has sort of taken that baton and saying, yeah, we just needed a new president to enforce existing laws. But is there anything that you would like to see legislated? Is there anything that could actually be permanently fixed right now that doesn't rely on just the whim of a new guy sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania?
Oh, sure. There's plenty of legislative changes we need. My point and everybody's point was, that President Biden didn't need new laws to stop the bleeding at the border, and obviously we've seen that because it's now at zero. But the one most important thing we do need Congress for is to pass universal E-Verify. That's the online system. It's free. It works. So when you hire somebody, you check whether they actually are telling the truth about who they are and whether they're allowed to work. It's voluntary. About half of new hires are screened through it. The other half aren't. And so that needs to be mandatory for everybody. It's not going to solve everything, but it's the single most important thing Congress can do.
Excellent. Let's get E-Verified done. All right. Mark, always good to talk to you. We could talk for all 4 hours with you, literally. There's so much going on in the realm of immigration and border security. Thank you for giving us your time this morning.
Thank you.
It is 7:17.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Is there anything better than a good, long, hot, forceful shower?
Wow, Larry. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
What
Taking
did you
a
think
shower.
I was
Yeah,
going
it's
for
lovely.
there?
I don't know that you just. I don't know where you were going with this, but
you don't want your shower to be weak and tepid.
Yes.
You don't want your shower to be, when you're at a hotel in some California city where they control the water flow and you turn the water on, and it's like, is this broken? Did I
It's
do
a
something
trickle.
wrong?
It's like it's trickling down. You can't even for women. Okay, because I know you have good hair, I guess. But I think.
Wow.
You need less water to shampoo your hair. You just do.
That is true. Meredith's showering experience for her shampooing is very different than mine.
It's hard. It's so to scrub off the shampoo, and then you have the residue of the shampoo. It's really annoying. I got to tell you.
I remember California California led the way on the low-pressure showers, all environmentalism, right? Eco-friendly, whatever. I remember living in California. I would go on a cruise, and the cruise ship had better water pressure than my home in California. A cruise ship, a boat. I got better water pressure on a boat. So, of course, Biden nationalized this and made these low-flow shower heads the standard and regulated against high-flow shower heads. Trump campaigned on this, and yesterday, the moment we've all been waiting for, here he is announcing his executive order.
Next up, sir, we have a series of executive orders and a memorandum all relating to deregulation, which has obviously been a major priority of your administration. The first of these is an executive order. The Biden administration launched what you've called a war on showers. They had certain regulations that basically killed the water pressure of showers and other water appliances.
You can say it. Go ahead. What are the appliances?
I mean, it's everything, sir. It's dishwashers,
toilets,
toilets, sinks. But the shower heads are a huge
There's no water. You don't get water. It's ridiculous.
So with this executive order, we're effectively going to be reversing that set of regulations to ensure that Americans have choice in the consumer market. If they want a low-flow shower head, they can buy one. If they want a real-deal shower head, they should have the ability to get one.
You buy a new house, you pay a lot of money, and the developers, you're not allowed to do anything more. They put restrictors on. They used to have a restrictor where you could take it out, but now they weld it in. And you take a shower or wash your hands, whatever you do, including dishwashers where no water comes out. But you wash your hands, and in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. And I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous. And what you do is you end up washing your hands 5 times longer. So it's the same water. And we're going to open it up so that people can live, and we're going to hopefully have Congress approve it so it's memorialized.
There you go. And see, you shouldn't mock people with follicle challenges there, Mercedes. He and I both like to
Trump has great hair. I don't know what you're talking about. But Trump, it's not only the shower heads, it's the toilets, the dishwashers, and the other household appliances, okay? I mean, I got to tell you, it's like one of Matt's pet peeves. It's like, why would you mess with the shower pressure? Or yes, exactly. Or even the dishwasher. It's like you want your dishes to be sparkling clean. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yes. For people who live in
I'm really
liberal
happy
enclaves
about the
like
executive order.
Me too. Like I said, in California, but also in New York, going all the way back to the 90s. Seinfeld predicted this, complained about it. They were way ahead of their time, remember?
Hey, the super's in my bathroom changing my shower head. Have they changed your shower head?
No, he's doing mine next. They're low flow, you know.
Low flow? Well, I don't like the sound of that. Jerry! Jerry! What? You too, huh? Yeah. These showers are horrible. There's no pressure. I can't get the shampoo out of my hair. Me either. If I don't have a good shower, I am not myself. I feel weak and ineffectual. I'm not Kramer.
You? What about me? I got the Tonight Show tonight. I'm gonna have to shower in the dressing room.
Oh.
Where you going?
Well, I gotta find another shower.
By the way.
They got you too? This is awful.
Nobody can get the shampoo out of their hair. Jerry and Kramer obviously had great heads of hair, too, so they had that to worry about.
Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:37, and we're plowing through this morning show news cycle like nobody's business. Thanks for coming along with us and letting us be along on your morning commute. Always great to have you. Coming up at 8:05, Katie McFarland is going to give us the national security perspective on the tariffs announcement yesterday. And at 8:35, former governor of Maryland, Bob Ehrlich. It's Larry O'Connor with Mercedes Schlapp. Good morning, Mercedes.
Good morning, Larry.
You know, I mention often on the show that my one of my three brothers was a plumber. He's retired now, but he was a plumber. People always assume, oh, O'Connor Plumbing. No, not that O'Connor, not that plumber. But we do have that O'Connor with us now, Tommy O'Connor, O'Connor Plumbing. No relation, but I'm sure somewhere down the line in County Clare or something, our great-great-grandparents knew each other. Tommy, thanks for joining us.
Oh, appreciate being on with you guys.
Well, listen, we've been talking for years now, like our friend of the show, Mike Rowe, has been pointing out that these dirty jobs, these hands-on labor jobs, we've sort of, as a society, farmed this out to people of other nations, people who aren't even in the country legally, for that matter. And there seems to be a shortage right now in American laborers. And I saw this column from Selena Zito at the Washington Examiner. There's an economic impact right now, specifically on a shortage of plumbers. And this is disconcerting. Can you sort of play this out for us and explain what's going on exactly and how this is bad?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a concern of ours for a long time now, probably 10 plus years. The average age of a plumber in the United States is 45 years old, and the average age of a master plumber is 58 years old. So in the next 10 plus years, we could be losing over half of our master plumbers in this country, which means that if we can't change this, that there's going to be fewer companies out there able to serve our communities and take care of the plumbing needs, because without a master's license, you can't own a company.
And is part of the problem here, is it a cultural problem, or is this actually an education problem? Because if you look at the way the school systems are set up right now, and Selena Zito makes this point, there really isn't any sort of hands-on, home economics or shop class or any of those things that would inspire people at the right age, from 6th grade on, if they had an affinity for that, to really pursue those kinds of careers. It's all, STEM and AP classes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think it's something that, the schools have shied away from over the years. I think for the reason you stated earlier, it's considered a dirty job. And I think that, the more young people we can get interested in this trade, the better off we're going to be. But again, over the years, it does seem like that. I remember back in high school, we had those classes, shop class and different types of classes for trades, but they've seemed to have gone away. I have seen a trend, though, lately. I feel like that some of the schools are recognizing this. And just, for example, in Frederick County, I know they're focusing on getting more of their students into these type of programs. I think they want to, try to increase the number of students, make it a requirement that some of these classes are being taken, and to get that interest back up. So, yeah, it is a big problem. And again, I kind of look at it from, how I grew up. I mean, I grew up with blue-collar parents, and they really wanted us, my brother and myself, to go to college. That was, something they wanted for us, right? All parents want their children to be more successful, to have an easier job than they had, or easier career. So I think that's part of it too. I think a lot of blue-collar parents are pushing their children to go to college versus the trades. So, I think it's a couple of reasons there.
Yeah. I want to ask you, when you're talking to younger folks who might be interested in going into the career, how do you talk to them about when it comes to like the pay, the purpose, like what's the real value of going into this type of career?
Well, for me, it's more about purpose than pay, but obviously pay is a big deal because you have to be able to earn a living. But there's a saying that plumbers protect the health of the nation, and I believe that fully. So that's something that I talk to our the youth about, which is again, we are part of the healthcare system. We provide clean water. We take sanitary water into the buildings, and we remove the waste from your buildings. So without plumbers, there would be a lot of sickness, a lot of illness and things. So, I know a lot of young people want to show value, want to have a purpose in life. And, that's something that we promote heavily when we talk to, we go to high schools, we go to middle schools, and we speak in front of their, potential kids that want to get into the trade. And that is a big thing that we promote, is that our job has value, has purpose.
By the way, there's also a huge entrepreneurial aspect of this. Most plumbers, or a good chunk of plumbers and master plumbers, are their own businessmen. They start their own business and they work for themselves, and so they get into the business aspect of it. And you can really grow not just your own career, but you can actually be a major entrepreneur with expansion and franchises and all that stuff. I mean, I guess that's part of what you learn when you become a plumber, is also how to go into business and actually make some really wise and beneficial business decisions.
Well, for us, it was fortunate that my brother got involved in the business years ago, because he did go to college. He did graduate from college and with a business degree. And my father and myself, who started the business, we weren't savvy businessmen, and we would do a lot of work. But collecting your money and paying your bills and all those things, that's something that we weren't great at. So having my brother come on board after a couple years into the business, that really helped us out a lot. So, but like you said,
now
yes,
you're passing that on with your training, though. You have the state-of-the-art training center now, and you're actively looking for people to get on board, and as you call it, the O'Connor way. And people will learn these skill sets and also learn about the business as well. O'ConnorPlumbing.net, by the way, is where you can get more information about that, O'ConnorPlumbing.net. And it's always good to touch base with an O'Connor. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm very happy. And like you said, yes, our training center is something we're very proud of. We're having a dedication to my father on Friday, the 25th. We'll have our grand opening, our ribbon cutting of our training center. So we're very excited about that. Cool. And like I said, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you guys.
Oh, you bet. Don't be a stranger. Let's. This is something. This is an ongoing topic that we're on top of here, and we'd love to include you in the conversations in the future. Tommy O'Connor. I will look for him at the next family reunion. It is 7:44.
We'll have some of our gear too.
So. Absolutely. Oh, heck yeah! Thank you.
Yeah.
It is 7:44.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
I want to give a shout out to a local young man named Parker Jensen. He goes to school in Baltimore County. He's been suspended for 7 days. He's just gotten back to Towson High School. He's a senior. He just returned to class. He wants to go to the Marine Corps. Why did he get suspended? Because he started asking about why the classrooms didn't have American flags. And they suspended him, Mercedes.
That's crazy. So
this kid should, yes, he is suing them. He should be awarded. He's claiming that the Baltimore County Public School System, the 22nd largest school system in the country with a $3 billion budget, acted unlawfully when it suspended Jensen for a week. According to Baltimore County Schools policy, American flag must be displayed in every classroom. Jensen said, hey, you're supposed to have the flag. Where's the flag? And instead of actually following the law, they suspended the kid. He's great. And by the way, if he wants to go to the Naval, if he ends up getting into the Naval Academy and to be a Marine Corps officer, I'm inviting young Mr. Jensen. I'd love to be a sponsor for him when he becomes a plebe, right over where we live in the sponsor area of the Naval Academy. This is absolutely outrageous that they're treating him this way. He's the kind of American we should embrace and hold up as what we want out of our teenagers and our high school students.
Well, the good news is that as of April 1st, flags have been installed in the classrooms that did not have them.
Yeah.
So,
how about we suspend the school superintendent who didn't make sure this was
nice?
That's the person who should be suspended. By the way, I saw this story 2 days ago. I immediately thought of our executive producer, Heather Hunter. Do you know Heather's backstory? Heather's first major claim to fame before she worked in the media, before she came to D.C., when she was just, a snot-nosed school kid down in Florida.
College kid, yeah.
She took up this exact same fight in Florida because back then, Florida did not have the American flags. And she actually worked with Florida state lawmakers. And in 2004, the state of Florida mandated American flags in every schoolroom. And it was because of little Heather Hunter, back then Heather Smith. There she is. Look at there's a little. Oh, we got to tweet this out. Look at her.
Photo. Wow.
Look at little Heather in the newspaper. All right, we're going to tweet this out so everybody can see our little Heather back in 2003.
Smith.
Oh, wow. Heather, that was 20 years ago. Can I just say you're looking good. You're looking real good. 7:53.